What is poppin', everybody? Welcome back to a brand new Pokemon Sword and Shield video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at an interview with Game Freak's Junichi Masuda as they talk to Eurogamer regarding the Pokemon Sword and Shield games, talking about pressure from fans and talking about Sirfetch as well. So it's a really long interview, so I hope you guys can stick around and listen to what they have to say. Of course, he talks about the pressure from bring back the National Dex haters that have just been going absolutely wild ever since the game has been released, and it said that there was no National Dex. So he talks about, pressure as a Game Freak, employee, as a designer, as a game creator, and stuff like that. So it's really interesting. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Leave a like if you guys are excited for the video, of course. So Junichi Masuda, my boy, he states, when you look at leaks in the UK, they are pretty big vegetables. I mean, it's right. There's been a few ups and downs for Game Freak in the build-up for the Pokemon Sword and Shield's launch. The initial reveal of the Galar region, the UK's inspiring setting, was perhaps a tad lukewarm, and the decision to move away from a full 800 or 900 strong Pokédex brought out a cry from the particularly noisy sections of the Pokemon fans, to bring back National Dex haters. But then, new Pokemon like Wooloo have charmed and twisted old favorites like the brilliant Sirfetch and Galarian My Little Ponyta have gone down a storm. Having now played the enchanting first hours of Sword and Shield 2, the game's typical charm has once again started to shine through. But for Game Freak, it hasn't been quite the ride. I spoke to a veteran lead producer, Junichi Masuda, and a particularly joyful Shigeru Amori, Shigeru Amori, I can never pronounce his name right, the series games director, and the surprising inspirations for those new Pokemon, and how they went about researching the UK, and what dealing with those moments of backlash has been like. Do note though, our conversation took place a few weeks ago now, shortly before the announcement of Galarian Ponyta, so the odd answers might feel slightly less coy than they were at the time. The following transcript has been lightly edited so you can read the rest of our conversation. Alright, cool, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. So the first thing I wanted to ask about the new Pokemon that you've already announced. The likes of Sirfetch and Wooloo and Galarian Weezing seem to have gone down especially well this time. What do you think about that? So Amori states, the first thing that we say is we're really happy that fans have taken these new Pokemon so quickly. It's hard to say exactly why fans have taken them so well, but with Sirfetch, for example, it might be the kind of unexpected nature of it. It's like, oh, we never thought that we'd see Sirfetch change into something like this, so fans are really enjoying that. In other ways, you mentioned Weezing, for example. It might be the way it matches with the feel of the kind of UK-based environment. You say because we're polluting! We're polluting the world, I'm sorry, okay? It's not my fault. So this new image of the Pokemon really matches with that, and it kind of brings the game to life. There are different reasons why fans might have taken to them. We're really happy that that's the case, and all the different kinds of effort that the designers have put in creating them as born fruit. On Sirfetch in particular, it seems like it's based off an old evolution that Sirfetch was in the Gold and Silver demo that was uncovered. It is based on a canceled design that was never made into the game. Amori laughs, it's a completely new design. Really, when we're looking at the UK as a region, we thought this kind of evolution with it holding a leek and a sword and having a kind of shield design really fit this new generation we were designing. So yeah, it's a new design. Can you talk about what design came from? What was the first things you wanted to do to have a Pokemon with sword and shield straight away? Amori laughs, so when we're making these regional forms, there are different thought processes that go into it. But one is definitely that we got an existing Pokemon that we'd like to make evolve. So you've got other examples like Obstagoon, which is Lineune's evolution in the Galar region. This time around, we're evolving Lineune. The designers really took a look at them and thought, is there a way we can change this Pokemon and make it evolve into something else? Another consideration for Sirfetch in particular is that when you look at leeks in the UK, they're pretty rich vegetables. They're kind of chunky, big odd things. Whereas in Japan, when you associate the word leek, it's kind of crossover with spring onion a bit. But you think of small, thin ones. So the difference is what we look like in Japan and the ones that are here in the kind of inspiration for why the leek that's held by Sirfetch is so much bigger than the ones held by a normal Sirfetch. So the last question about Sirfetch, I promise. Are you going to equivalent that's exclusive to Pokemon Shield like Sirfetch is to Sword? So, there are things that we haven't announced yet as far as we can go, but of course there are regional differences and certain ones that are awaiting for you to discover in Pokemon Shield, so hopefully you'll look forward to that. Note that this is most likely Galarian Ponyta revealed as Shield exclusive after this interview. Junichi Masuda says, please enjoy lots of Sirfetch and trading them with players in Pokemon Shield. So now he goes on, how do you go about researching a region like the UK for Sword and Shield? Do you base it on the idea of what the place is like, or do you research it in depth? Amori says, when we were designing a region, the first thing that we actually have a kind of a theme in the game. So this was around the strength and making the strongest Pokemon game. In the UK, baby! And when I was thinking about this, I was associated with the word strength. The UK came to mind. So that's why we decided to take that direction. But of course, when you're making a region based off somewhere, once you've made that decision, you have to actually understand what the place is like. So we did actually come over here, investigate lots of different places, visit the actual locations that we wanted to implement, and looked at different places and decided, well, this place could be something we want to design an area based on. So we use that. So yeah, a lot of research goes into it rather than just loosely thinking of an area. There are some features in Sword and Shield that seem to be inspired by Pokemon Go. The raids, the co-op element, carrying a smartphone with you. Will there be any Pokemon Go integration like there was with Let's Go? In Pokemon Sword and Shield, there are no direct communication with Pokemon Go, but you have seen the announcement for Pokemon Home, where the plans are able to send Pokemon from Pokemon Go, take them around with you, so that's something we have. Along those lines, how do you manage the balancing of all the different fan bases of Pokemon? There are people who watch the anime, people who've got Pokemon via Pokemon Go or mobile games like Masters, who first started with the red and blue or just started playing. Are you trying to cater to all of the main handheld games, Pokemon Sword and Shield, or are you now trying to separate them out? Amori states, so that's really, so to really make the new game something that each fan, regardless of where they entered series, can be accessed easily, we do make sure that I explain what Pokemon is, the world of Pokemon right from the start each time. You get an explanation of what the Pokemon world is all about. You get an explanation each time how you throw a ball, how you catch a Pokemon, so we make that sure that regardless of how many fans we have in each type of game, each new entry is something that any fan or someone completely new to the series can jump into and enjoy right from the start. So he basically states, you know how there's always a catching tutorial, how there's always like Oak, and he pops up, he's like, oh, welcome to the world of Pokemon. Basically, that's the reason why, to cater to all the Pokemon fans, whether you're old or new. Junichi Masuda says, what we really want to do is whether someone that's played Pokemon Go or Pokemon Masters has now been interested in playing Pokemon Sword and Shield, or perhaps the other way around, where they start playing Pokemon Sword and Shield on their Switch from the look of playing Pokemon Masters or Pokemon Go, is to encourage people to discover Pokemon as a whole and enjoy what different aspects of that. Do you reveal it's quite difficult to please everyone, things like the Pokédex issue recently, or some people wanting either a more difficult or more welcoming experience? Is there a difficulty or a pressure there? Amori says, yeah, there is definitely a lot of pressure when you're making the game, but it doesn't make developing a game feel stressful or anything like that. At the end of the day, it's something that we love doing and is really fun to do. But we definitely really want to answer the wishes of our fans that live up to their expectations, which is something that's quite challenging. So in that sense, yeah, there's definitely pressure, but we also, within ourselves, always strive to make the best game and really deliver something that we're proud of, that we make feel fans are going to enjoy. So yeah, there's fun and pleasure in that. Has some of the negative feedback on the Pokédex, which I'm sorry to dwell on, had much of an impact on the morale at Game Freak? I know you've mentioned that you're personally disappointed not to be able to include all the Pokemon. Did the team feel saddened by the reaction at all? So this is Junichi Masuda talking about the hashtag bring back the National Dex thing. So he states, of course, you see these sort of negative comments, and as it does, as a developer, makes you feel a bit down about certain things, but at the same time, you have to take criticism. For example, Pokemon Let's Go. Early on, there were a lot of comments saying that it was too easy or it was a kind of bit kid-focused and the sort of thing. That sort of comment is something that you see, you take on board, and you really try and base improvements in the next game and the feedback you receive from the last one. So with regards to the Pokédex issue in particular that you mentioned, that was something that we really had a decision on internally. There were a lot of discussions about which direction we should take it in, and ultimately we felt like for the overall game, focus on creating the richest experience we could within the game, leaving the Pokédex as we did was the best solution overall. So basically, he states that, of course, he was upset that he couldn't include all the Pokemon. A lot of people were giving him a lot of stick for it, and he's actually sad himself that he couldn't, have all the Pokemon in the games. But of course, so he could focus more on different aspects of the game, they had to cut the Pokemon, which, to be fair, it's not a bad thing. I mean, I could see that, like, with Diamond and Pearl coming out, the remakes, they could have a National Dex. I could see it easily. But, for Sword and Shield, it just doesn't bother me at all. I'm so much more excited to use Pokemon that I've never used before. If there was a National Dex, I kind of feel like I'd be using Pokemon that I've already used before. And now with, a limited Pokédex, just like in Sun and Moon, I use Pokemon that I never used before. So that's why it makes me excited for it. It seems like Team Yell is maybe based on a little of certain rowdy fans that we could have in video games. Are there a reference to some of the louder parts of the community, or is it just based on something like football hooligans here in the UK? Morrissey. So this time around in Pokemon Sword and Shield, there are kind of sports atmosphere that takes a really large role within sports. All sports have fans, and some of the fans go overboard. That's something we considered when designing them. We also have this character called Marnie, my lord, I can't even speak, and it's perhaps something a bit more in Japan specific. but often you have idols who really are hardcore fans who kind of follow them everywhere. They're sort of overzealous fan that is also something that this Team Yell has been based on. So that's really where they took the inspiration from. So the idea behind Team Yell, they actually took it from, you know, how like they have idols in Japan and basically the fans are like just way OTT. So basically that's what it is. If you've seen any anime, like singing anime and stuff like that, you'll see that the designers always animate the characters to have like an idol and their fans just be absolutely batshit crazy. You mentioned Let's Go and a few comments about difficulty, but you've also mentioned a while back that it was really popular. You considered doing another Let's Go style games based on the other series. It seems like it went pretty damn well to me in the end, so are you planning on doing more like that? Carry on a Let's Go series along the main side one. Masuda states, so at the moment there's no particular plans, but if fans really like it, then definitely keep those voices coming out to the Pokemon Company and Nintendo, and make sure we hear them. We want to hear those comments. So basically, there's no plans for Let's Go, like Let's Go Johto. Lastly, you've got some new features that are first for the series, things like autosave, open world elements, a co-op, player versus enemy element. Do you expect that trend towards these kinds of quite modern design elements to continue? Mori states, really what we want to do with those kind of things is first look at how Pokemon Sword and Shield are received, see what features people enjoy and well praised, and then we go forward in the future. There are obviously other games doing different things like that. We basically wanted to have a look at what does well and what we can improve. Based on the kind of feedback we received for Sword and Shield, I'm thinking about what we could put into the future games. Can you highlight any particular games that were inspirations for Sword and Shield, and were there any outside of Sword and Shield that inspired certain designs in particular? Mori laughs. So myself, I'm a big fan and play a lot of games, both Nintendo games and also games on other platforms. So, you know, it's very possible that whilst playing these other games, that's something that kind of inspired me indirectly to add the Pokemon world. But really, when designing new features on a professional level, it really is kind of looking at what sort of aspects of games are popular and what works well in the current world, because the changes over time, obviously, really looking at that and seeing what fits into our general design ideas and seeing what we can do to improve our games as we go. Ooh, okay, so that was the whole interview between Junichi Masuda, Eurogamer and stuff like that. That's actually pretty interesting to hear. Like, I'm happy they noticed stuff. Like, of course, like, a lot of people are talking about saying the games, Let's Go and stuff, well, like, they were easy games. It's good to know that a developer, you know, he takes those on board. He's like, all right, cool. This is what we did wrong. This is what we're going to do better. That's what I love about Game Freak and how they handle the situations. And of course, you know, I'll leave this down below in the description so you guys can go over and read for it yourself. But I'm really happy with how the game's ready to go, literally in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks-ish. And just how well it's been received. There are so many people that are hating on the National Dex, which is fine. You know, you're entitled to an opinion, but just keep it as an opinion. Keep it to yourself. Why not, eh? Just let other people enjoy the games. That's been a major fact for me. Well, I see a lot of people, obviously doing this as a job, I spend a lot of time on Twitter and stuff. I see a lot of people hating over one simple, you know, I mean, to somebody, yeah, maybe it's not simple, you know, but the fact that there's no National Dex doesn't mean you have to cause like an uproar in the community. You don't have to give the developers shit for it. That's the one thing that just really just irritates me about it, but it's whatever. The games are out so soon, and I'm so excited, and it was just nice to have a little read of that. So let me know what you guys think about the interview down below in the comment section. Of course, one last thing that I did want to see is that they've released a brand new TV ad for the Pokemon games, for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So if I go, I know it should be in my subscriptions, I'm pretty sure. Let's go. Oh, it's here. So this is the new trailer for Sword and Shield. It's so good, dude. It's so good. Sorry, I can't turn it up. Look at my boy Umbreon. He made it. Let's go, baby. God of War made it, my girl. Look at him. Look at it. It looks so cool, man. Pokemon Shinstai. You know what's really interesting about this trailer as well? Is watch. Boom Evolution. Alright. Okay, there was no evolution in Gen 3. Gen 4, boom, evolution. Okay, cool. Gen 6, sorry. Boom, evolution. Look at that. What are they trying to tell us, people? What are they trying to tell us? Are we going to get a new one? Maybe. I don't know. I'm interested, though. That trailer was so cool. But that's all the time that we do have for in today's video. I know there is still if we go to the Pokemon channel, I know there is still one video on the Pokemon channel that is privated. So if we go to Pokemon Sword and Shield, look, there's a video here that is privated. So obviously it's been uploaded to the playlist, and we still don't know what it is, but it has been privated, and I don't know when we will get that information, but I'm so excited. So as soon as that video drops, of course, we'll make a video on it. But let me know, what do you guys think it could be in the comment section? But with all that being said, guys, I'm going to get up and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, thumbs it up. It's greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you guys are new to keep up to date with all things Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I will see you guys back in a brand new video next time. Bye!